there, Linda Goodall here. It's almost Valentine's Day, and if you're like me and haven't made anything yet, here is a quick project that you can still get out in time. So they're just little hearts like this, and you can put candy in them. And the way they work is they have a little flap in the back, and you can put your candy in there. And so we have all our nasty little candies right here. And what we're going to do here is we are going to make this one again. Now you notice this one doesn't have any lettering on it, and this one does. It's the same design, I just skipped the lettering. And you can skip the lettering, or you can replace the lettering with a name or whatever it is that you want to if you have the right software. So let's get started. We'll switch to the overhead camera and see just what we need. Okay, so let's see what we're going to need for this project. I already have my stabilizer hoop, and I'm using Totally Stable. And this is a nice crisp lightweight tearaway, and I like it because it perforates very easily, and so it tears away when we don't have a lot of stitches. And this is a pretty low stitch count design. For the front, I'm using glitter vinyl, and then for my window I have a piece of clear vinyl, and for the back flaps I have 2 pieces of glitter felt. And there is a pattern for this, and you can see it right there. It's a SVG file with your design, so if you have a cutter you could cut it out on that. I just cut it out by hand, it's pretty easy to do. And then I use some ribbon. Just have a little piece of ribbon. Get it over here on the white so you can see it. For the loops, you don't have to put that on, and it's just 1/4 inch wide ribbon. And of course you need your candies. Now I just put my candies right inside the thing there, but if you want to not have them inside your bag up next to the fabric, you could put them in a little tiny Ziploc bag like this, or you could buy pre-wrapped candies and put in there. You'll also need to print out your worksheet. Here is my worksheet, and this is at actual size, has the color sequences. I sewed it in all one color. You have to have the extra colors in there so the machine will stop and you can do something. And up at the top we have some brief instructions. Tells us to use the template to cut the back flap, tells us what size we need to cut the front pieces and the pockets and all of that. And then it has quick instructions for each color step, and then what to do when you remove the hoop and how to finish it. So once you take it out of the hoop, really all you need to do is some trimming. There's no turning it inside out, there's no hand finishing other than the trimming. So that's all you need to know. So now we're ready to take it to the machine and start sewing. So the first step is to sew the placement lines, and I'm going to sew this in red just so you can see it, but when I sewed it myself, I just sewed it all in white. Okay, so here are my placement lines. It didn't pick up the bobbin here, but I'm not too worried about that. I'm also going to extend these placement lines in a little bit, because these will be the marks for where I'm going to place the back flaps. And you could do a vertical one too, but I don't have any marks that I've made, and I just line it up visually. So now we're ready to place our front fabric, and I'm just going to place it over those lines. Use a little bit of tape. And we'll go back to the machine. Now I'm going to show you a little trick. I'm sewing on heat transfer vinyl, which is pretty thin, and it's okay for this project. It's not real sturdy, but I can perforate it with the needle. So I've just pulled the thread out of the needle, and I'm going to show you how we can turn off our thread sensors so that the machine won't stop and keep telling us we have a thread break. So you need to go to your settings, and then we're on page 4, and we want to turn off the upper and bobbin thread sensor. And then we just go ahead and sew. Don't forget to turn this back on when you're ready to sew with thread again, and of course rethread your needle. So here we are, and I don't know if you can see this, but I have a bunch of little needle perforations around here. Let's see if I can get it up here. Can you see those little needle perforations? I mean, yeah, you see my stitches, but you might not be able to see those needle perforations. And what I need to do is I need to cut out that little window. And I'm just going to do that by helping it along. Because I used the Tear Easy, all those needle perforations make that easy to tear out. So now what we want to do is add our clear vinyl window. And let's get some of these threads out of the way. I just need to cover up my outer heart there, and we'll use some more tape. My vinyl got a little crinkled there. So don't use too much pressure, just put a little tape on it to get it in place. And then I'll flip it over and press it down that way. Take it back to the machine and I'll sew the next stitch. And this next stitch is a chain stitch. And it's just a decorative motif stitch that's going to go around, and that's going to attach our window to the back of our front piece here. Now what we need to do is cut away this excess vinyl. And I'll also get rid of that inner vinyl piece. See all our needle penetrations just perforated that? Isn't that easy? That would be really hard to cut out. So the next step would be to add the lettering. I'm actually going to skip that step and not put any lettering on this one. And the next step after that would be to add the back pieces. So just line it up just above the inner heart of the small one. Put some tape up here. And we have two back flaps. So the bottom one goes down here and the bottom one gets lined up with the upper notches. Like that. Put some tape down. And the upper one gets lined up with the lower notches, and I'm just going to eyeball that since I pretty much know where it is. And we'll flip it over and smash that tape down, and then we'll take it back to the machine and we'll run that last stitch. So here's our design, and before I take it out of the hoop, I'm going to remove my tape. Then I'm going to remove this basting line. You can remove it from the back, but you'll have to lift up this. Basting stitches are usually easier to remove from the back. Then we'll remove it from the hoop. Now here's why I removed the basting stitches. I want to tear this tearaway right up to my chain stitches there. So I might have to cut in there so that I can get through those original placement stitches. And this is what I like about Tear Easy. It perforates really easily, even on a low stitch count design. This design has less than 4,500 stitches, and that's if you stitch the lettering. So it's a fast sewing design. And now all we have to do is trim around the edges here. And the only tricky part here is not to cut off your ribbon at the top. And now it's ready to fill with candy. So we just open up the back and put in some candy. And there we have it. So if you like this video and you want to see more, tell me what you're interested in, and please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.